Hello, welcome to the 11th day of January 2026. My name is Kurt, and this is my daily Good Life Meditation, a live video broadcast exercise that I do every morning at 5:30 a.m. to remember my life objectives and principles, those which are outlined in my book, Going Alone. I also use this time to think about yesterday and how I did with the various challenges and the opportunities that I met. Did I handle them well? Did I handle them poorly? How could I improve? I go over the objectives of my creed and I prepare for the coming day. But first, welcome to my new subscribers to the channel. It's good to have you here. I'm Kurt, a 61-year-old retired American living in Japan. I do this video exercise daily as a diary, so I'm at liberty to talk about any subject that I like for as long or as little as I like. I do talk about sensitive subjects sometimes, so be forewarned. Sensitive topics like death are come up every day. And a huge thank you to my subscribers and my members on uh, YouTube and my Patreon supporters. I really do appreciate you. Okay, with that, let's get started. Looking at the last 24 hours, the note here that I have is a dull, joyless day. Yeah, that's how it was, stated very plainly. So ever since I come back, well, ever since I arrived in America, I was in America in December, tackling what I call the situation, a very challenging horror show, hashtag horror show, that's unfolding, continues to unfold over there. And ever since the first day that I arrived, literally the day that I opened the door, I've been flat on my back. It knocked me flat on my back, and I haven't recovered, and I'm still knocked over. And yesterday was quite acute. It, it's just, it's like when you experience something so terrible that it just, you know, exercises all of the joy from life. That's precisely what it's like. So yesterday was all of that. It was a full-on Saturday free day. It was a dull, joyless day as I continue to tackle uh, this unfolding situation, which isn't going to end well. It's going to be bad, and I imagine that I'm going to be in this state of mind for a long time. What I wonder is, what will it be like out the other side? Will I will this horror show rob me of my love of life wholesale? Will I never get it back? Is my innocence gone? I have nothing more to add. Just to point out what it was like yesterday. Okay. And so far, it seems like more of the same today. All right, as for my creed, it consists of 8 objectives. Number 1, to be always ready to die, having my affairs, my relationships, and my life's work in order. Number 2 is to make good and effective use of my time. 3, and I did yesterday, good use of my time. Boy, oh boy. I was abiding my creed for sure yesterday. I was leveraging the day to very good ends. Lots of reading, lots of productive work in the garden, spent time with my wife. We had a nice lunch and breakfast and dinner. I got like a lot of good exercise. Just all of it was dull and joyless. The third objective is to cultivate good emotional reactions. No, sorry, is to develop and maintain good and sound life principles. Number 4 is to cultivate good emotional reactions. Number 5 is to perform good actions relative to my values. Number 6 is to recognize my true limits and my true opportunities. 7 is to do just one thing at a time and do that thing slowly, deliberately, and carefully. And number 8 is to maintain my balance. Now, I forgot, didn't I? I was supposed to read. I think I'm reading the fourth objective today, which is to cultivate good emotional reactions. Reading from the book, which you can buy on anywhere, and you can also order on Amazon. Page 250 of the hardbound edition. Objective number 4: cultivate good emotional reactions. I will take control of my emotions such that these inform my living more than control it. Feelings and reactions will then become life counselors rather than rulers and chiefs. Through this effort, I will create and reflect a life of equanimity through inward control and a resulting outward peace. I'll remember that life is lived as one upon a seashore, noting and living according to the tides, which fall now with feelings of low regard towards our purpose and meaning, timely, and well being, followed later by rising spirits and outlook. We'll see. With a fresh, clean flood flowing in. Temporary here for a short season before the ebb comes again to frustrate, confuse, and concern us in an always recurring cycle of flows and highs and lows once again more. Now, when I wrote those words, I had never experienced a horror show. Well, not the like of this, and I know there's worse. So the seemingly rather pedestrian uh, description of the cyclic nature of outlook and sensibility seems dull and innocent now in hindsight. It really does feel like a valley that from which, if I can sum it out of it, um, I'll never be the same. I'm pretty confident of that. Whether that'll mean that, the that's something that's a caution for sure. I'm starting to see now. Best to enjoy life while you still can before. Is it just me or did that wind faster than usual? It did. I'm sure it did. Not just before, enjoy life, not just before death takes life away, but before the horror robs us of our capacity to enjoy life. Okay. As for the next 24 hours, well, it's I'm getting together with the fellas this morning. So, did I tell you guys about the fellas? So, an acquaintance of old from when I lived here in Japan before, um, who's become a friend. I would say we were friends before and that back then too, but we didn't ever really get together, you know, and has invited me to. It was since I've come back to Japan. He lives nearby, and has and in fact, he's the person responsible for me getting the job that I have right now. Anyway, he's a very personable person, very successful too, and he's since I've come back, he's made it a point to extend a welcome arm back and has welcomed me. He's a very social person, and has welcomed me into the fold of his familial friends, so to speak, the little foreign community here. And every Sunday we get together up on the mountaintop up there called the Nihondaira, and we sit up there. It's a bunch of men, and we get together and we drink coffee from a vending machine and gaze at Mount Fuji and talk about the things that men talk about, middle-aged, older men like us. So I'm going to do that this morning. And I'm really looking forward to that. I really need some guy talk, to kind of what happened in America. What happened in America, I can't really talk i- with my wife or daughter in a very earnest way, um, because they're Japanese. Well, one, because because she's my daughter. That's why. And two, because Yumiko, not because we don't have a relationship where we can talk, but because she's Japanese. And Japanese don't tackle really hard stuff the way that Americans do. They're different in the way that they handle things. Long experience has shown that, and I know that's true of the Japanese character too. So I'm really grateful to have a Western compatriot to whom I can share the what really happened over there, and I'll do that this morning. And I'm going to see Mully this week too. Mully is another person It's good to have my chums, so to speak, in here, right here where I live, where I can sit on the bench or go sit on just a couple of lawn chairs, looking at Mount Fuji this morning, having some coffee, and say, Corey, let me tell you what happened over there. What I'm really feeling about all this. Maybe that'll help. Maybe that'll help to burn off some of this malaise. That's what I'm going to do today. Well, it's Sunday too. I'm free. I imagine I'll spend a lot of time in the garden. Let's go ahead and read some comments. Hello, April. Good morning. Tim, good morning. Weather check for the UK at 8:35 p.m. is 0.4 C and 97% humidity. A clear and crisp, icy, sunny day. The storm has passed, it seems, Tim. That's great. Still darn cold, huh? The I can't even the wind knocked over my thermometer outside. I can't even see the temperature. But it's been about zero lately. But it was warmer last night. Hello, Evelyn. Good morning. And Evelyn says hello to Ms. Udatsu and Tim. Tim says hello to Evelyn. April says hello to Evelyn and Tim. Excuse me. Tim says hello to Udatsu, aka April. April says, Kurt, I think it's important to keep your own personal and mental distance even when you have to help someone through their problems. Yeah, and I sure did. I was very I I managed to get through that entire 3-week journey in America in a very clinical manner. And it's not because that I wasn't close. It's just because the person that I was dealing with wanted none of that. I was not I was not welcome. I was not even liked. And so were to be no warm and fuzzies. And so I had to stay very distant and clinical and aloof in my interactions, setting up the infrastructure of support rather than, being a shoulder where anybody could cry on or anything like that. So it was a tough going to maintain that, because one false step and I would become the catalyst and indeed the heat sink for all of the anger. April says it's important to try not to let it affect you in a way that's going to cause harm to your own well-being. Don't forget to take care of yourself. I understand what you mean by that, April, but on the other hand, I do welcome the maturing effect that tragedy has, and I'm all right with wearing darker colors in both clothes and mind on a going forward basis. If the sobriety of of the world's horror um, causes that to happen, so my character and my well-being and my well-being even, and my demeanor and my outlook, um, I welcome them to change, um, if 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 to take on a more realistic uh, illustration and reaction to life. April says the clock shine came at an ominous point in dialogue. Oh, chime, you mean? Yes. Sarah says, good morning, Kurt, Tim, and Evelyn, and April. Hello, Sarah. April says hello to Sarah. Tim says hi to Sarah. Evelyn says hi to Sarah. Robert, hi, Robert, says hello to myself, April, Tim, Evelyn, Sarah, and notes it's currently 35 degrees Fahrenheit and 75% humidity with an air quality index of 19 in Napanee, Ontario, Canada. Thank you, Robert. I love your weather report, and including the air quality index. Evelyn says hi to Robert. Tim says, I know everyone's view of enjoying life can be different. The main reasons I retired at 58 is because my father passed away at 62 while still working, and so never experienced retirement. I felt, yeah, boy, I could add something to that, Tim, right now, if I wouldn't be giving away the too much information about why I was in America. But boy, do I have some stuff to say about that, man, oh man. I hear you. Hallelujah, brother. Sarah says, morning, Robert. And Tim says, that was sad. Tim. April says, oh, I love Mully. He seems like a great guy. He is a great guy. Tim says, hi, Robert. I'm going to see him this week. Frances Corzanet T568 says, hi. Hello, friends. Hello, Francis. Can I just call you Francis? Welcome. It's good to have you here. April says hello to Robert. Robert says hello to Francis Corzanati 568. There, I think I said it right. Patrick, haven't seen you for a while. Hello, Patrick. Hello, everyone. Best wishes to all. I'm currently being safe, but not too safe. Have a great day, Softy P. Thank you. April says, "Oh yeah, that makes sense. Dot hard too. Helping people that don't want your help. That's another hit in your psyche on top of everything else. Ain't it true?" Evelyn says, "I agree with you. The horror show will change you forever, no matter how much time passes. Moving forward, everything will be different." Yes, yes, Evelyn. I don't want to be the same after this. I hope though that that my sense of optimism and joy returns, and I expect it will because that's very deeply in my nature. But I feel like I'm grieving right now, and um, the colors of the world have drained away, and I feel weak and sober and silent, and all of those characteristics. I don't I don't necessarily want them to go away if that's how I really do see the world now. You know, if that's what the world. I mean, if that's what the world. Am I seeing the horror of the world? And I don't want to unlearn the horror. But um, even if it means that I'm not, even if it means that I'm not as happy as I once was, that's a price I'm willing to pay. Tim says, "I've been hovering around freezing all day today, but a wild swing tomorrow to plus 10 degrees Celsius and the same tomorrow night, so a full 10-degree change. Wild swing tomorrow to plus. Wow, that's a big change. Freezing all day, and then tomorrow's going to get warmer." Robert 5865 gave me $50. Wow. Thank you, Robert. Wow. And a note: "Welcome back and Happy New Year. Here's a little something for these daily videos. I don't quite know what I get from them, but I do enjoy them." Well, thank you very much, Robert. I really, truly do appreciate that. That means a lot to me, and I'm glad to have you here. And really, probably, mm, your in addition to your wonderful, your lovely gift, your words of encouragement mean a lot to me right now. I struggle a little bit making these. My motivation to produce content has faded now, greatly faded, with the result of the horror show that I'm going through. And yeah, I've lost my motivation for just about. It's funny. I've lost my motivation for just about everything except reading. I'm diving in. I'm reading so much. I'm reading several books at once and really diving into them, um, which I'm glad. So it's not like I'm just stalled the ship and I'm not moving forward. I've just stalled the ship and picked up a whole handful of books. Robert, thank you again for that $50. Wow, thank you so much. I will put that to good use. Um, Supporting the infrastructure of all of this stuff that I do, because I haven't been producing content. As a result, my YouTube revenue has dropped a lot, and that revenue supports all the stuff that I do here and on Twitter and etc. Thank you again, Robert. Relieving Yourself, aka another Robert, he says, "Nice one, Robert." We've got the chorus of Roberts. And Believe in Yourself goes, says hello, and hello also, Robert. Robert says, "I believe in yourself," aka Robert. Sarah says, "I can only imagine this process has taken a lot out of you. You must feel such great relief being back home in a safe, loving environment." That's true, Sarah. I do. At the same time, and I'll bet Evelyn can relate to this. I bet many people can. I just happen to know a little more about Evelyn's story than probably than most of your stories. Um, I know that Evelyn is going through her own horror show right now and has been for a while, and also has gone abroad. Being abroad while the horror continues to unfold is its own special flavor of horror. I bet Evelyn can totally relate, right? Because when I left, I only stayed there for 3 weeks. The horror continues; it continues to unfold. Now, I did while I was there. I put into place all the infrastructure that I needed to allow a safe, no, not a safe, to help when the final fall comes, because the final fall will certainly come soon, and I won't be there for the final fall. Although I have entertained ideas about how I could be there. But what I mean by that is, so I left. I didn't leave having solved the horror. I left putting into place protections around the horror. Now I'm here, and the horror continues to unfold, and it's getting worse. That's its own level of pain, is to have left it behind, because that's not where my life is. I have a life here. I have a job now. I have a family. I have routines. I have circumstances, etc. Plus, not to mention, I can't sustain myself very easily in the United States. I don't have health insurance. I don't have a place to live. I don't have a car. I don't have anything. It's a very costly affair for me to be there. Now, I may have to change that depending on how things go. I may have to go back and live in America again. So your comment, Sarah, about it must feel great relief being back home. It is great relief being back home, but it's also its own different type of torture, if you know what I mean. April says, yeah, you have to let it in, but it shouldn't be allowed to have the power to break you. I agree with you on that. Yeah. Live and learn through it, but don't osmosis, like filter through you, because it stops you from living too. Well taken, April. Thank you for that observation. I agree. Tim says, of course, what I mentioned earlier, someone still working in their 60s might be thoroughly enjoying it, but the sadness I felt from my father is he had never experienced the retirement phase for good or bad. Yeah, that's true. I wonder though, and it feels like I'm pushing back on everybody today, and I don't mean to do that. I don't. Maybe this circumstance of mine is making me a contrarian. But Tim, I wonder, and I wonder. I mean, like for me, I'm struggling with retirement. You know, retirement is not easy for me, and um, I wonder sometimes if the people that carry on through it are lucky in a way. I mean, maybe okay, maybe if they're like you or they're like my wife, who seem to be swimming free in retirement. I mean, Yumiko's just having a blast. I mean, she's doing great. Me, I'm not doing well in retirement, and I mean, I guess those in their 60s, if they're with one type or the other, or maybe there's some hybrid in between. I don't know. My retirement journey so far, it was fun at first, and now it's getting hard, and it seems to be getting hard. Well, maybe I'm only saying it's getting harder now because I'm in the midst of horror, probably. April says grief is understandable, just don't let it stick around for too long to where it whittles your soul. Sarah says it's hard stepping into the space and energy of someone who has made different life choices, who views the world differently. It's hard to protect your energy while feeling empathy. Yeah. April says to Sarah, yes, Sarah, sympathy over empathy is something much better for our inner self to be part of, but still have the safe distance. Having that line between sympathy and empathy is important. Sarah says, that's so kind to Robert. And it is kind. Thank you. April says, pain of watching from the outside, just knowing you did what you could for the time you had. Yeah. Sarah says, absolutely, April. I think those lines blur when it's family or you have that connection through blood. There is a sense of obligation. It's challenging. April says, denial and arguing is part of grief too. All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and stop for now, and I'm going to head up to the mountain to go sit with Corey and a couple of other fellas over our coffee. It's good to have men talk sometimes, and not just. It's not just that I can't talk about a lot of the stuff with my daughter and wife because of my daughter. I don't burden my daughter with that level of. She's an adult, but she's got her a lot that she's challenging on her own, and she doesn't need to know a lot. It's on her. It's her family too, but she doesn't need. There's some stuff that she doesn't need to know, uh, and my wife, like I said, the cultural differences there. And sometimes, there's men talk and women talk, right? And it's good to sit around with the fellas and have men talk sometimes. And I'm going to go do that now. Tim says the struggling with retirement is a big subject on the retirement groups, especially for men for some reason. The consensus is do what makes you happy. If that is working, that is perfectly okay. Gosh, Tim, I see it here and I see it here all the time now. I was downtown. I went to work on Thursday, and after work, I was downtown. I walked around town, And I saw so many men my age, our age, in their 60s, with their little bags, walking around, smartly, trimly dressed with nothing to do on a Thursday afternoon. And I thought, you are my brothers, my fellows, my fellow retired 60 something men that have no idea what to do with their life. Sarah says, look after yourself, Kurt. Thank you. I got to get on some of those retirement boards, Tim. Wow. Evelyn says, enjoy chatting with the guys. Yeah, thank you. Sarah says, enjoy your mountain men talk. Yeah, thank you. It's just men talk. The guys, most of the guys ride up there on their motorcycles. So it's bikes and coffee and guy talk. April says, yes, we always want to protect the kids from grown up stuff while we can. Yeah, plenty of that stuff. It's interesting to see how Emily's already, her mind is changing. Her perspective on life has changed. And she's going into her second year of full independence. April says, lots of love and hope you have a good talk out there with Corey and the fellas. Thank you. Have a good Sunday. Francis, Corey, thank you, Francis. I'm going to sign off for now. Wish everybody all the best. As for me, I expect I will die in my sleep. Take care. See, I told you I'd talk about death. Bye bye. And thank you again, Robert, for the $50. I'll make good use of it.